Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now, November 26, 2024. My guest today is Ingrid Baptista in New York City. Ingrid, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks, Mark, and thanks for having me.
Uh, Ingrid, we've talked a lot about your life, your experiences, and coming here. Introduce yourself to people who are out here listening.
Okay, great. My name is Ingrid E Baptista. I love using my middle initial, and I'm originally from Venezuela. I came here in 1969, and I've been living in New York ever since. Um, I became a citizen in 1989, believe it or not, on January 6, 1989. So January 6th is very special to me. And I am basically around these parts amplifying the importance of our Constitution and what it actually means to me. And I like having those discussions and bringing people into the fold.
A lot of people don't realize how short the Constitution is relatively, because like my pocket copy is like it's not that long. I mean, if you look at the provisions in it, but those provisions, for example, when the main body of the Constitution, the first six articles, that sets out how our government is set up and also provides for amendments and a lot of stuff that I don't think people really know is there.
True. That is so true.
Oh, and now when we were talking before, also, one thing that bothered me about January 6th, 2021 was seeing an individual walk through the Capitol building with a Confederate flag over his shoulder, and people who are far right will go, "That wasn't a Confederate flag. That was a flag of the Army of Northern Virginia or something." It's like it's Confederacy. I mean, give me a break. That to me was really disgusting. Um, and the 14th Amendment was a product of the Civil War, and you've gone through that quite a bit, haven't you, and studied it?
Yes, I studied it, and it's basically that's the amendment that makes immigrants like me to apply for citizenship, to be able to be a naturalized citizen. It's also the amendment that a lot of people tend to forget. Blacks in this country were free, but that's the amendment that gave them the right to vote, citizenship. I know I mentioned before that when I became a citizen, the main reason I became a citizen is to be able to vote. That to me was important. I was 32 years old. I was working in Wall Street, and it just seemed that I needed to be a part of the mix. I had my home here and everything, and I needed to be part of the fabric of this country. And again, to become a citizen, you need to know your Constitution and the loyalty oath that we take to the Constitution. And that seems to be, for me, that's what it looks like to me, that a lot of people that are born here, they seem to have more allegiance to the flag as a material thing and forget everything about the Constitution, even though they say it, but it's like they don't know what's in it, and they don't understand why certain things we fight for, because it's a Constitution that gives us that bedrock in order to fight for it.
Well, and when you look at a comparison between an oath to the flag, which I think Hitler had people initially taking an oath, actually, it was after, like, during his first year in power, had officers take an oath to him as they were holding onto battle flags. Well, in this country, our freedom of expression includes the Constitution is superior to the flag, meaning if you want to protest and burn the flag, the Supreme Court of the United States has consistently upheld that as one aspect of free speech. That's just, and people might disagree with that, get angry about the flag being burned, but that's a difference between the Constitution and the flag.
Exactly.
Um, we have just gone through a rather contentious election. And in the course of that, I know there are a couple of people here in Indianapolis who claim to know about the Constitution, but I guess would toss it aside for their own goals. Um, when you came here, well, you grew up here because came here as a kid.
Yes.
Were you when did you first learn about the Constitution, when you were aware of it as a person? I mean, a kid is going to become aware of it at some point in school and stuff.
Well, I always refer to Miss Jackson. I had this teacher, Miss Jackson, in my elementary school because I had to basically really learn English when I came to this country. So my mother put me in a private school. And in that school, Miss Jackson, from in social studies, 6th to 8th grade, she really went in depth about the Constitution, about slavery, about all those things. So in that sense, I feel like I really got a nice history that how we came to be. Okay, because of the color of my skin, even though I'm Latina, I'm still black. When people see me first is black, then they get to know where I'm from, and then they'll get to know who I am. But the first thing that they see, they will see the color of my skin, and I take that as my badge of honor, because that is what was fought in this country for, and what we continue to fight. And the Constitution, I was taught, especially 14.3, was given like the Miss Jackson used to call it like it was supreme. That it was one of the amendments, that the only amendment really in the Constitution that actually protected the Constitution. Okay, because it protected it from bad people that want to get rid of it. So if you have bad people in the midst, this comes this, and they're trying to get rid of this, they get put out first. So they never are going to be able to succeed if we follow the 14.3. And that's why
That's the insurrection clause of the 14th.
What is it?
That's the insurrection clause of the 14th.
Yes, the insurrection clause of the 14th is self-executing. I call it an off ramp when we want to get rid of bad people, and I call it ironclad because it's there to protect the Constitution. And once people
And
get
Ingrid,
that in their head, go ahead.
Let me touch up there. We're going to take just a real quick break, and then we'll be back for the next segment.